All right, here we go. Craig Jones versus Roberto Jimenez. So first, let's start with Roberto. I really didn't know who Roberto was until recently. And the way I discovered him was I saw him on Submission Underground against Nathan Orchard. So I have a friend who's really big in the 10th Planet, and he was telling me about Nathan Orchard. And so I've been watching Nathan for a little bit. And when I said, oh, cool, Nathan's fighting. And then he went out and competed, and he got rolled up. And I thought, whoa, who's this dude who just rolled right through him? And it was Roberto. So that's how I found out about Roberto, as I saw him take out Nathan Orchard very easily, it seemed, and very quickly as well. Since then, I've also seen him compete in the Third Coast grappling events as well, which he's done amazing. He's ran through a lot of people, mostly no gi, but just really effective, aggressive style. So more and more, the more I learn about this guy, the more I think that he is going to be a big factor in bringing our sport over to the mainstream. I think this dude is a complete package. I think he's really good at jiu-jitsu. He's a finisher. I think he's marketable. I mean, look at this dude. He looks like a model, right? And in his interviews, he's kind of timid, but that's okay. And not everyone has to be like the Conor McGregor attitude, talking trash, being aggressive. I mean, people could be their own people, and that's fine. But this dude Roberto, I think, just watching him, I think, wow, this guy is the next best thing going for jiu-jitsu, and he's going to be definitely a force. Which brings us to the next cat, Craig Jones. Craig Jones from Australia and not New Zealand, Australia, I believe. I think Lachlan Giles is from New Zealand. But Craig is probably one of the coolest dudes in jiu-jitsu. This guy has such a cool attitude about him. He's so laid back. He's good on the mic. He's awesome. He came into this fight losing the past 2 matches that he had against Mason Fowler. So the first match he had against Mason was a little bit of, you could say that was the ref. It was, kind of BS. But the second one was clear as day. I mean, he got submitted by Mason, and I don't know if it was because Mason's style. I personally think Mason's body type is a little bit challenging for Craig's game, but that's whatever. So anyways, these two went at it. It was awesome. Craig came out with the Aussie music playing. Roberto came out with some reggae music playing. It was cool. And they started, and the match, when it started fast. Right away, Craig sat down, and you know what I liked about him sitting down? He didn't just go down. He actually sat down in base. And what I mean by that is, if you're from certain clans, particularly the Elio Gracie side of jiu-jitsu, you know the emphasis of standing up in base. How clean and how good that is. And when I personally, my personal opinion is, if you're not standing up in base, when I see someone not do that, a jiu-jitsu competitor not do that in a grappling match or not do that in a MMA match, to me it just looks so sloppy. I believe standing up in base is so much of that movement is within a lot of other movements of jiu-jitsu. So definitely standing up. So he sat down in base, was awesome, sick, and right away, man, he went right into it. He used his shoelaces on his left foot behind the right leg of Roberto to pull him in, to create connection and pull it in just like a rope. And he pulled in, and immediately, we'll see right here, he hooked under Roberto's right leg. And if you notice, Craig has his right foot kind of against the rib cage, up underneath the armpit, going under the armpit of Roberto, and he did this to off-balance him. And this off-balancing was the perfect time for him to, if you see Roberto posted out with his right hand on the floor, he off-balanced him and right away went into a leg entry, and he pretty much literally just rolls over his left shoulder and over the leg and right into the leg lock, and it was beautiful, and they were dry, and this happened literally 20 seconds into the match. And I thought, oh man, he's going to submit him quick. Roberto did a good job getting out, and they squared back up. And again, Craig wasted no time. He did an arm drag on Roberto, and Roberto countered the arm drag on his right arm by sticking his left leg forward, almost like he was doing a knee slice, a guard pass through that side. And that's exactly what Craig wanted. because Craig was ready for that left leg, and he locked it up right away with his left leg. And you see again right here, Craig's shin, his shoelaces on his right foot, going underneath the armpit of Roberto, creating Kazushi. And you see right there, Roberto putting his right arm down to base out from the off-balancing, thus allowing Craig to go right into another leg entry right there. And boom, went right into it. But this time it was a little bit different because Roberto used his left arm, and you see going on the right side of Craig's face, creating a crossface, and using that to kind of sprawl out and get out of the leg entanglement. And when he did that, he almost mounted right after that. He sprawled out and almost went right into a mount. Craig felt that quickly and easily lifted, created elevation on Roberto with his right leg, kicking his right leg in the air. And that allowed Craig the space to bring his left knee in and retain guard, knees bowed out. So there you go. It was awesome. They were getting right into it, man. Again, they kind of squared out. Craig wasted no time, went right in, hooked under the right leg. The difference between the leg entry that Craig did this time as opposed to the first two times is that Craig had both legs this time. Okay, so he had both legs. It's if you watch the John Danaher DVDs, which I totally recommend, this is basically volume 5, right? You see that what John Danaher calls double trouble. He has the wrap, the over wrap on the legs, and he's attacking that leg right there, Roberto's right leg, with the inside heel hook. And he got it. And the thing about the inside heel hook specifically with someone like Roberto looks like he has big feet. And I think that's going to make it even more difficult to get out of that position. So he didn't get out. Craig tapped him, and it was cool. And Roberto, gentleman, whatever, wasn't hostile about it. Like I said, I think Roberto is going to be the next big thing. And Craig even kind of alluded to that. He said, I want to beat him now while he's still young. Again, Craig's cool. But afterwards, Craig was getting interviewed. They kind of asked him who he wanted next, and so he called out, which I thought was kind of whack, actually. He called out Dylan Dennis. And the thing about that is, first of all, Dylan's, he's smaller than him, right? Okay. But not only that, I think Dylan is becoming less and less known for his grappling and jiu-jitsu accomplishments, and more known for being Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach, So that whole thing, it didn't connect to me anyhow. But what I was hoping he would do was call out Shanji, because during the match, Shanji kind of alluded to, maybe something like that happening. He did say, hey, I'm paying attention, this is my weight class, whatever. Or at least maybe Craig could have called out Mason Fowler, the dude who beat you twice, but he's probably has that in his contract in the other promotions. So all in all, it was a great match. I was super stoked with it. Props to who's number one, and Flow Grappling. It was awesome. And if you've watched this video, I appreciate your time, and thank you so much.